Good evening and welcome to the City of Isani City Council meeting for Tuesday, July 7th. I did say 7th, right? I thought I said 17th. Well, I'm already off to a bad start. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, all council members are present. Is there any public comment at this time? Step up to the podium if you would, sir. Just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Richard Albin, 941 Winsome Way, Northwest. I'm concerned about the fireworks in our city. I know it's against the law. Why can't more be done to stop it?
Well, thank goodness for you, sir. We have the police chief sitting right over to the right here, so he can answer that for you.
Good.
If we could give the chief a mic.
Well, what's against the law is pretty much your aerial fireworks, which is what the ones you can hear at night. They go boom. Anything that explodes, those big ones, those are the ones that are already legal in town. Trying to think. We did look over last weekend. I think we had 6 or 7 fireworks calls for service. People call, say they see fireworks, and out of those 6 or 7, there was 2 contacts made.
So in the chief's defense, I can say this because I see it quite often. If you don't call the police are never going to know.
Okay.
So they need you just as much as you need them. So if you inform them, they'll respond.
Okay, I'll certainly inform them.
Yeah,
So.
and we encourage, if it's a complaint, the problem we have is you call because you hear fireworks in your neighborhood. It's a big neighborhood. It's hard to pinpoint where those violations are. It helps when we have the person across the street that says the person at X and X address is where they're coming from. Then we can actually locate them. But our officers do spend a lot of time trying to find them, but people know they're illegal. They light the fireworks off and then they disappear for 10, 15 minutes. Then they go back out, light the fireworks off, and disappear for 15 minutes. So.
And I would advise anybody in this city, if you want to remain anonymous, you can most definitely do so. We all understand you have to live in that neighborhood, but the more details you can give that dispatcher, the more they pass along to the police department. So if it was, I hate to pick on Mr. Luke Merrill, but he's in the front row. So if you were to say, it's a guy with a beard, he's wearing a black shirt and blue jeans, he's my neighbor, his name's Luke Merrill. You can't get any more detailed than that.
No, that's for sure.
And then they have all that information and they can do their due diligence.
It's a difficult challenge, but we do what we can do to try to curtail it because we know it's disturbing for a lot of people in the community.
Thank you, appreciate it.
This year has been
Thank you.
dramatically worse than most
It has
years.
been. I noticed that myself. Like this year has been a ton of fireworks compared to the years in the past. I don't know why that is. Maybe
Just
more people are patriotic, I hope.
More people are going to Wisconsin.
Or it could be that.
People are sick of being home.
I think people are so used to things being canceled, they weren't sure if fireworks were coming out or not.
Well, we have fireworks July 11th,
No, I know that, but
right in the city of Isani.
So you got more
Bluebird-
fireworks
At
coming.
Bluebird Park, folks.
yeah.
So we're going to even, we get it. We're going to put some fireworks on for the community. Any other public comment at this time?
Thanks for coming forward with your concerns.
I know we have a agenda modification, Ms. Wood.
Yes, we do, Mayor. Thank you. We are removing consent item L12 from the agenda. The applicant did withdraw.
Withdrawing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with a modification?
Motion to adopt the
Second.
agenda with modification.
Second.
I have a motion to adopt the agenda with the modification by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the city council minutes from June 16th, which was a regular meeting of the city council. June 16th of a committee of a whole meeting, May 19th, a planning commission meeting, and February 25th, which was a park, recreation, and culture board meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Announcements. Committee of a whole will be Tuesday, July 21st at 5 p.m. City council meeting will be Tuesday, July 21st at 7 p.m. And a planning commission meeting will immediately follow the city council meeting, hopefully 7:30ish. Any council committee reports by the council? Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor. I did just want to give an update to you and council and let you know that it is anticipated that Isanti County Public Health will be issuing an order regarding 207 Richard Avenue. I haven't seen the documentation yet, so I can't tell you what that is, but it is anticipated that something will come from them. Once we have received that letter, and so has everyone that is required to get that, staff will be working on the next steps with our city attorney regarding that property, because I know that's been some concern of yours as well as some of our residents.
We're all aware of 207 Richard, correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
No? The police department ended up closing down a methamphetamine house at that address, which now it's being deemed a public nuisance or public health risk. And hopefully the county health department takes care of that issue and we can push this along so we can rest easy on Richard Avenue. No other council committee reports? We'll move forward to item J1, a resolution to authorize nuisance abatement for property located at 105 Railroad Avenue. Ms. Selman, I believe you're covering this, correct?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the June 16th City Council meeting, the council called for a public hearing to consider a public nuisance abatement for 105 Railroad Avenue. They've had some time now to replace their roof and their siding. I did pass out a memo from Inspect. They did their weekly inspection on the 6th. And then I went out there today. That's the small picture that you can see. They have done some progress on their roof. They did remove the tarp and have put the sheathing board or the baseboard for the roof. Half of the shingles are not there yet, and they haven't made any progress on the siding. So staff is asking the council to consider a resolution to abate the property to finally fix it.
I'm gonna make a motion that we delay this abatement. I went over there myself. They've made some progress. I don't know about all of you, but I'm sure not one that wanna go on a roof when it's 90 degrees out. This weather we've had in the last 3 weeks have been horrendous. And he's making progress on it. You know, and if we want it's an old building. If we force abatement on it, he's gonna pack up, leave, he's gonna get stuck there, the city's gonna get stuck on the bill and owning that building. And I don't wanna see that. I know Mr. Cobalt and his wife Mary are here right now, and I know they're making progress on it. And I myself will stay on him. Mike and Mary both know me very well, and they know I will hound them for things. And I think personally, I think he's making some progress. It does look a lot better. I think I drove by it before we came here. I think progress is coming along. And I think that's in our best interest. And I think we should just play it by ear and go another month. I'll be honest with you, I don't see where we need to have an inspect come out there until it's completed. To have them drive by and take pictures, I think that's just stupid for us to pay that. I think we have enough of us in the city that can drive by and see a progress on it. And I'll be honest with you. I just don't,
How long has this went on, Ms. Selman?
Since August of 2019.
That's an awfully long time, Councilman Lundin.
I don't care. I really don't. I don't think we need to start pushing on something that we're gonna get stuck with and paying a bill with and a building that isn't gonna be worth that bill. Second of all, if we're gonna start playing that game, I drove by 2 properties in town, and I brought another third property up to Miss Selman, and it still hasn't been mowed. and that's from the school district. The other one is 2 residential properties. One may be foreclosed upon, but doesn't matter, it still needs to be addressed. The other one, people are living in the house and the grass is up to my waist.
Okay, before.
I'm just, what I'm saying is, if we want to start playing these kind of pushing games, I think that we got to start being fair across the board to every single person. And if some people aren't going to like it, well, I guess that's what this council wants to do.
What did this council agree upon a year ago, Councilman Lundin?
What?
Do you recall?
No.
Well, let me remind you that we weren't going to be picking on anybody. We would take everything by complaint base only. If somebody complained, it would open our eyes to that matter.
I totally agree, but I still also think.
Somebody's complained on this building.
I can
Number of
complain-
people have
I
complained.
can complain about a lot of things. That building's been the same
Well,
since,
then issue a
for
complaint.
50 years.
Issue a complaint then. I mean, I want to know,
I think we got bigger fish to fry and things to worry about and put our money into better wasted things than a building that's not gonna be worth what we're gonna have to put in there to bring it up to code.
I'd be willing to go 2 more weeks, because I just looked at the forecast. There should be no reason why you can't complete it in 2 more weeks. But to go beyond that, I think since August of last year, and I understand what you're saying with the heat. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be up on the roof shingling today, but there's
wouldn't
people
either.
that are stuck doing it for a living. But I'd be willing to extend 2 weeks from today's date.
where are you at, Ms. Sumlin, with it? Have you followed the progress here? Are you,
Yeah, they have made progress since their notice for the public hearing. They did remove the tarp, they did cover up the holes. There is noticeable progress, like Councilmember Lidding said. They haven't completed the order as requested, so that's where we're at today. And I haven't heard from them, I understand they're here, but I haven't heard anything from them.
And I do strongly suggest that they do communicate with you. I mean, that's the first line of defense on anything, is if you communicate, at least talk civilly, 99% of the time things can be worked out. And I know that Mr. Colball and Mrs. Colball understand that, they would probably step more forward to do that. But you gotta remember, that building's been there since the 20s. You know, then you wanna do that one, let's look at the building next to it. You know, let's look at this other building over here, and then let's look at what is this building over here. You know, I mean, we can go right down the line to a lot of things. One person picked on this specific, you know, or numerous complaints have picked on this particular building. Why? You can drive around, I can show you a lot of other places.
They've picked on the one next to it as well.
But I also know of another place in town that I've been complaining about for years, long before our current mayor's been mayor, and that guy's fence looks horrid. And nothing ever gets to be addressed with that fence.
That's been addressed as well.
Well, it ain't changed. And that's 10 years worth of complaining about it. So, like I said, I can go right down the line to a lot of things and none of it's been ever addressed. So, I think we're making leaps and bounds. I think I will agree 110%. We've given them every fair chance to get this building done. I'm just saying, let's give them a little more time, but now it has to follow through.
well, I'll agree with Councilman Collis on 2 more weeks, see where we're at.
Yeah, I'd like to see more like a month, I think. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more time. I really don't want to end up paying that, to do that project and then end up stuck with a building that we can't sell or anything.
I don't either, and I understand what Councilman Lundin's saying. I get what you're all saying. But are we gonna bleed out, or are we gonna stop this bleeding?
Months is reasonable.
Okay. I'd like to hear from Mr. and Mrs. Colbert, if they wouldn't mind stepping up. If you would, just state your name and your property address.
Mike Colbach, 105 Railroad.
Mary Colbach, 105 Railroad.
Thank you. My main question is I know you and I have spoke.
Right.
Once or twice, as a matter of fact. I knew you're moving along on this.
Yeah.
My question is are you paying for this out of pocket? Is that what's taking you so long?
Right.
Okay. And would a month
And then
be-
there was a lot more rot inside the building because of the construction that was done back whenever. They had done a 1x5s, tongue and groove all the way across. Then they put a slat down on top of that, and then another row of 1x5s. So when it started leaking on the inside of the building, the top side was rotting. So I had to do a lot of extra replacement that I wasn't aware of at the time I was doing it. And if you don't believe me, you can go look at the pieces we just tore off yesterday and threw off the side.
I mean, I hope you understand the frustration on our end where the
Right.
communication was,
We too we get it. Our problem is we don't know who to contact. Somebody stops out, we explain to them what's going on. We really don't even know how this works.
okay.
But we've had people stop from wherever, inspect and whatever. We have explained to Dan Qualley what we were doing. We're quite sure he understood it. And he's pretty much left us alone. I mean, it's quite a project. We don't know how long it's gonna take because you don't know until you strip the roof, the shingles off to see what's in there, because there's two full roofs, right? And they're solid. So we don't even know what we're getting into. The problem is if we don't get a few days of non-rain and we strip that roof before that, you know.
Or non-90 to 100 degree
Right,
weather.
or below
With
zero.
humidity.
We're not gonna shovel, we're 60 years old, we're not gonna shovel 2 feet
Well,
of snow
I
off.
shoveled it 3 times last year.
I'm just
Snowed
saying,
it.
okay.
I remember
but you get
seeing
where I'm
Mike up
coming
there
from.
shoveling.
We're not young anymore, this is a lot of work. Once we strip it, if it rains, we've got thousands of dollars worth of machinery and finished products still in that building. We have to move everything inside so we can reach it from underneath to replace what we need to. And then we've got to go up and fix it. So it's the process you guys can't even see that's going on in that building. We moved 4 units of particle board off the one side because it was simply in the way. So it has to go so we can get to what we need to get to. So, I mean, it's been a really long process for us as well.
And make sure you tell them how many sheets are in a unit. It's not just one sheet.
Oh, no, there's like 40 or 50 sheets in a unit, and it's 3/4 inch 4x12 particle board. This is not, I mean, it's a workout, and yeah,
So do you have pretty much all the sheen done on the roof now, so it's just shingling it and getting the
we have a
fascia?
couple pieces left that we have found that we're working on right now that we're replacing. So there's still some spots that we have cut loose. It was just too hot today. We just couldn't continue it.
So,
And then, as regards to the siding, that sheeting that is on there is cedar that is on there. It has already been Tyvek and sided, so I don't know why you put it in paper that it wasn't, because it was.
Scott Qualley has already signed off with that part.
Yeah,
He was
he's
out in
already
January.
there, and he signed off on the construction.
All of
the
Has
safety.
Minspec been communicating with you, Ms. Selman, on this particular address?
Yeah.
And you're fully aware of what they're saying versus what Scott's saying?
Yeah, I don't have a signed off sheet. I mean,
We
the
do
work
have
is
it.
complete, but they still need to side it. I mean, they have an open faced wall.
We have the, what he signed off on. All of the things that, the engineer had given us to, all the clips and everything were done. The siding was done. All of that was done and signed off
And
in
another problem
January.
was, there was posts missing out of the building, so he decided, oh, well, we'll have to put those in now. And they've been gone since we've had the
Well,
building, so.
they were
something like
never,
that.
I mean, Steve would know that, they've never been existent in that building. One of them is over our table saw, so,
So I had to put LBLs in, and
This is just on the framing and wall
yes,
race.
that is what happened to the wall. Okay, now the other thing I'd like to show you is, the
What-
roof never came down with the wall. It never came down with the wall. The construction engineer, what's his name? Beckleen? The reason he doesn't have anything in your paperwork of repair of the roof is because it had nothing to do with the wall. We only requested the roof permit at the same time is because Wally asked us to. He said, just do the roof at the same time. We had contacted him
He said it
prior
would be
and
less
said,
money.
we've got a couple leaks,
So we
we
weren't
need to
gonna
get
do
this
the roof
roof.
right away.
And we explained to him, we had no idea what we were getting into because we knew what the roof looked like. You know, we knew the design. So he said, well, just roll that together with that. And, so the roof actually had nothing to do with the wall that came out.
From my understanding, Ms. Selman, they just wanted to make this building structurally sound
Yep.
all around,
Yes.
side to side,
Yes.
top to bottom.
Yes, that's what Dan Qualley had said, and that's what the structural engineer had said. We've done everything
So
the
we've had
structural
a-
engineer has requested us to
Yep.
do.
That wasn't on the siding though, what you showed me, Mary.
What?
That's not on the siding. That's what I was asking about, was the siding. Did he sign off on the siding?
Yes, he saw the siding, and it was at the same time. The siding was done when he came in, and if he didn't put it on there, I don't know why, but you can see his footnote on the bottom. You can read it better on his paper. His footnote is he doesn't even want to inspect the outside. He told us that he just wants to come in and see the underside of the deck on the roof. Everything
make
else is
sure that-
complete, and you can call him and check with
Hold
him.
all the mold and rot and stuff off.
Yep.
Let me ask you this, would a month be proper time for you guys to finish?
Yeah.
That'd-
No ifs, ands, or buts?
Right.
And I would ask you to communicate with Ms. Selman,
Okay.
do some more communication with her.
Which her card is out on the table when you walk out the door here. Her card's out there. I would advise you to grab it and keep your communication with Miss Selman. I know she's busier than a one-legged woman in a rear end kicking contest, but she'll do good on
We just have
transparency
no
back and
idea how
forth.
any of this works, other than we've dealt with Scott Pauley, and we've told him every step of the way exactly, you know, and then he worked with our engineer on what we needed to do.
And then we've had four other guys stop by. And then we have to stop and go through everything again. And after we've already had it signed off, and we've been looking at everything, taking pictures, and
We had one stop by and ask us why we were putting in a garage door without a permit. We were not. We hadn't touched the garage door. It was open because we were cleaning up, moving stuff inside, but he asked us that. One time he stopped,
Do you know our code enforcement's in a marked police car? And if that guy stops, then you should probably answer his questions. Otherwise, you don't have to answer unless they're min-spec'd.
well,
Well,
But why
we
would-
don't know
that's
who
what
they
they
are.
claim. They claim they were
They're
from
min-spec.
Minspec.
We don't know who they are.
Ask
They
for
just-
proper
Yeah, I guess
identification.
I'm gonna have to.
Well, we
because there
don't-
was
Absolutely.
four other
Again, we
guys
don't know how
stopped
this
by.
game works. The guy stopped by and asked if he could, 2 months ago, and asked if he could take pictures of the roof. Because we explained him again what we were doing, why it was taking so long. And he said, can he take pictures? We said, sure, go ahead. And he took pictures, and then, a couple days later, we get a stop and desist order on our building. And we're
So we
going,
called Minspec, and they said, oh, it's a mistake.
it was a
Strip off.
mistake, take it off. We're going, what's going on?
So they've got some problems going on with them, I guess.
I don't know, we don't know what's going on, we're just going, what is happening? We've been complying as best we can, we don't know who to talk to.
You'd think Bill Beckleen would know all this.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I'd say, are you working with Bill Beckleen?
Yes.
You'd think,
Yes.
you would think he would know all this.
He's the one that came down and told me what I had to do, fix
Okay.
everything.
And we fixed the wall and we
then,
were done.
Scott came in,
You should ask him to deal with everybody you're talking about,
Well-
so you have a better understanding of what's going on.
We didn't know the wall was different than the roof
Right.
project. And we explained to Scott, Scott had no problem with what we were doing. And then all of a sudden, all this other stuff starts creeping up and we're not understanding.
but anyway, it's been signed out by Beckling that it's safe. The building is safe. So the only problem is we just gotta get the roof.
Is that the direction we want to go? I'm okay with giving them a month. But I sure hope to God you too that that's done in a month.
Okay.
tell you,
I'll pray for you for it to be done in a month.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you want some beautiful cabinets. Just, you can see how long it's taking him to do the roof. That's about his length of his cabinets, but I'll tell you what, he does cabinets that, I don't know how he makes it
We're not
happen, but he
roofers.
does.
Well, you're not arguing the fact that it's been August of last year. You understand our frustration.
Yep.
So it's fair that we should understand yours.
Absolutely, we understand it. We're just trying to get you guys to understand where we're coming from, why it's ridiculously long.
I wish you would've came in
A lot sooner.
meetings ago and
That's
explained
another thing.
yourselves.
Scott said that I was not to show up at this place.
No, I don't know if he said that, or he said he would handle whatever with you
Yeah.
guys. He said he'll take care of telling you guys whatever's going on.
When we
But
were
then-
supposed to come to a meeting
When you guys,
before, he said, don't.
They're open to the
Sounds like a
public.
Minspec project.
we
if
we
it's on
don't
the
know how
agenda-
any of this works. I mean, we've never, I don't think we've ever been in here before. We
Well,
don't know how
it's,
anything works.
we're gonna be done putting blames on blames here. You got a month, we're gonna vote on it. We wanna give you a month, as long as you can get it done within that month. I mean, council has to approve it first, but that is my original motion, and I'm gonna stick to it. I wanna grant them one more month, and we'll review it after that month.
I have a motion from Councilman Lundin to grant one more month on this project. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor? Yes, Ms. Wood?
Excuse me, Mayor, I think that the recommendation from staff would be within the motion to postpone to the August 5th, postpone the public hearing to August 5th.
Yes.
Okay. Yep, I'll amend that to restate that.
So we'll restate the motion to be postponed until August 5th, giving them 1 month to finish this project. I have that motion by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. 1 month, you guys. Good luck. I'll pray for you.
Thank you
Thanks
for coming
in.
Yeah.
And again, Miss Selman's card's out there, my card's out there. You can call me anytime you want. I believe I've given you my card, Mike. You probably have it somewhere in that shop. My card's out there too. Just grab mine, grab hers. We'll keep communication and hopefully we're all done in a month. Thanks again, you guys. We'll move on to the business items. K1, resolution approving a special event permit for 2020 Summer Spectacular Car Show. Is Miss Amy Davis in? If you'd step up, Miss Davis.
Good evening, I'm Amy Davis. I'm here representing Rum River Rods Car Club. We are looking for approval for our 10th annual Summer Spectacular Car Show that'll be in downtown Isani on Main Street. We expect to have a few hundred cars at our event, a craft event, bunch of spectators
When's this date again, Amy?
on August 8th, Saturday, from 10 to 3.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by both Burgley and Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. K2, a resolution expenditure policy for coronavirus relief funds. Ms. Wood, do you have more information on this one?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. As Mayor and Council, due to the CARES Act, there was a component that allocated $454,377 of coronavirus relief funds to the city of Isani. These funds are to be used for COVID-related expenses that incurred due to the public health emergency because of COVID-19. They have to be expenses that were not budgeted in our approved budget of this year, and they have to be incurred between March 1st of 2020 and prior to December 30th of 2020. What staff has done is, by recommendation of the league, we developed a policy of how to spend these funds. We would need to expend monies to purchase things that would be covered within the resolution. I put some examples of things that are eligible to get reimbursed back with these funds. Those include technology upgrades to allow for telework capabilities and just in general having technology advancements here to handle a pandemic. Testing, whether that's testing for COVID-19 or serology to see if people have immunity for COVID-19. Disinfection supplies, medical supplies, just to name a few things. There's a very defined list of eligible expenses that we can be reimbursed for. So what I'm requesting of council is to allow staff to dig into this further. We would expend funds that were only eligible to get reimbursed back. It'll go into spend out of the general fund, be reimbursed to the general fund. Any monies that we receive because of this coronavirus relief fund that we do not spend then gets optioned out to the county, Isani County, to see if they can utilize those funds, and then ultimately goes back to the federal government.
Was there, when the city hall was closed down, I think you had some staff that were they paid leave? Does that go towards that also?
So it sounds like the people who use the COVID sick leave, because they needed childcare services or they couldn't because they were quarantined, it looks like those are going to be reimbursable now, where before they were not, for government entities. They were for private, but not for government. Looks like that will be. Now, if they stayed home because, like the teleworking, things like that, they were not. But things are developing as kind of like when COVID was initially rolled out, they were changing things as they went. So we're hoping to get on this a little quicker, get more information, and have some certainty with these funds. And it looks like they're doing better this time than when they rolled out other mandated things that we had to do. So that's hopeful.
Well, there should have been some more endurer costs too, with City Hall being closed and how you had to handle permits and payments. I mean, there had to be extra costs involved in that. I mean, it wasn't just walk up to the window and grab it. You know, you had to go actually send somebody else. I mean, it took time for some of this.
Oh, definitely. And actually, all of staff tracked on a tracking sheet tasks that they did that were COVID related that you normally would not have to do. It sounds like those hours spent are not reimbursable. However, we're looking into if we say that we, for example, PD, we had Chief Myers here allocated staffing. Yes, his salary was budgeted, but it was budgeted for X amount things. He didn't do X amount of things. They now got pushed off and we need another officer to take those on, or I'm just, giving examples. So those costs to get the task done, to hire someone now because we couldn't do them because of COVID, sounds like those would be reimbursable. So we're gonna work on all those different avenues to try to recoup as many costs as we can.
As a city, are we gonna try to do testing? Is that my understanding? You're gonna buy medical supplies for testing?
We won't buy medical supplies for testing, but we would have the ability to get reimbursed for going to any testing centers, or there are some centers or testing labs that come to you to do testing. Those would be reimbursable 100%.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. The K3, resolution approving a conditional use permit for 2 drive-throughs at 801 Highway 65, PID 16.020.1100. Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The request, as you stated, is for 2 drive-through windows at 801 Highway 65. That is the CBD joint building. They're looking to put a drive-through on the north side and a drive-through on like the southeast. It's kind of like an L-shaped building. They did hold their public hearing at the Planning Commission of the June 16th meeting. No one from the public spoke on that item. Because they are in the Highway 65 overlay, a conditional use permit is required for any drive-throughs. Planning Commission recommended approval, and so does staff.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K4, resolution approving conditional use permit for commercial recreation at 16 Main Street West. That is PID 16.050.0490. Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the B1 Central Business Zoning District, commercial recreation does require a conditional use permit. So the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow for an indoor gymnasium type use for children. It's gonna be like a play zone type thing. The Planning Commission did hold their public hearing at the June 16th meeting. They recommend approval, and so does staff.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K5, the resolution approving a variance for Falcon National Bank for an additional freestanding sign at 905 6th Avenue Court Northeast. And I'm not going through the PID number, so go ahead, Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bank is requesting a variance to allow an additional sign, a freestanding sign. Basically, it's an identification sign. It's 12 square feet. Right now, they only have their freestanding sign on Highway 65. And when people turn, they're not able to figure out, for some reason, where the bank is. So they're asking to have an additional sign that's 12 square feet. They do meet the requirements for a variance. Planning Commission held the public hearing on June 16th and recommends approval, and so does staff.
See, just remind me, is this temporary then, till they get that whole J turn in, or is that,
No, this would be a permanent sign.
oh, okay.
You gotta know where to go.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Collison and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K6 is a resolution approving a preliminary plat, final plat, and PUD amendment for property legally described as Outlet A, Legacy Pines, Second Edition. Ms. Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant, Everpine Land Holding, as you stated, is requesting a preliminary plat, final plat, and PUD amendment for Legacy Pines Third Edition. This will finish out that project. This plat contains 96 single-family lots. The thing for the PUD amendment is that they requested reduced side yard setbacks to 7.5 feet versus 10 feet. They've gotten their preliminary approvals. They're looking to do this final phase, and they'll plat it in different phases, but they want their final approval now so they don't have to keep coming back for every phase. So we'll enter into separate development agreements for those phases. The Planning Commission held their public hearing at the June 16th meeting. Nobody from the public spoke on that. Planning Commission recommends approval with conditions outlined in the staff report, and so does staff.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K7, ordinance amending the city zoning code, ordinance 445, section 13, article 4, subdivision 1D, accessory structural location.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This came forth based on some complaints that we've received from some residents. Right now, the way our zoning code is written is that accessory structures need to be set 10 feet back from the primary structure. With some of these lots that we have with the odd shapes and the large utility easements, they're not able to do that. The building code only requires 3 feet separation, so staff is recommending amending the zoning code to state just that, to follow the guidelines of the building code. Planning Commission held a public hearing on the June 16th meeting. No one from the public spoke on this item. The commission recommends approval, and so does staff.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Collison and a second by Councilman Burgley. I wasn't sure which one you said it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K8, ordinance amending the city zoning code, ordinance 445, section 3, subdivision 1, zoning district, and section 6, adding R1, a rural residential zoning district.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As directed by the City Council, staff has prepared a zoning district, R1A, rural residential, for annexed properties and properties that are in town that are south of Palomino that are over 1 acre. This is to address some of the outdoor storage issues and the impervious surface. So before you tonight is the actual ordinance creating that district, and then at the next Planning Commission, it's the actual rezoning of the properties. So we kind of have to do it in 2 steps. We are holding a neighborhood meeting on July 14th to discuss this matter. Over 400 notices have gone out to all the properties that are in fact affected by this and within 350 feet of those properties. So tonight is just consideration of actually creating that district.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. K9, ordinance amending the city zoning code ordinance 445, section 15, subdivision E, fence setbacks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance is to amend our fencing requirements. Right now, it states that privacy fences that abut public right-of-way need to be set back 15 feet from the public right-of-way. We've discussed this at Planning Commission. We're not sure where that measurement came from or where that requirement came from, but that is taking up a majority of half of people's backyards if we do that. Again, it's just for privacy fence, not chain link. So staff is recommending that we just take that language out, that they can go up to their property line, but if they do abut a sidewalk, they need to be set back 2 feet from the sidewalk. Planning Commission held the public hearing. Nobody from the public was present or discussed the item, and Planning Commission recommends approval.
Did we not talk to our Public Works Director, Matt Sylvester? Was he okay with that 2 feet?
I did speak to him, and yes, 2 feet is fine.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Gordon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Councilman Burgley and second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Motion to adjourn.
No.
Oh, sorry. I love that anticipation.
Did you say anything to me about?
May have forgotten.
You did.
Mayor, staff has a request to go into closed session for a discussion regarding consideration to purchase real property pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05 subdivision 3C for PID 16.0292.100 and 16.5020.050.
So at this time, I would have to ask everybody in the audience to step outside in the hallway, if you could, please, during this closed session. And then we'll invite you back in once we're done.
I didn't get anything for it that I saw, no.